We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. Aristotle. Change might not be fast, and it isn't always easy, but with time and effort, almost any habit can be reshaped. Charles Duhigg. Welcome back, everybody, to the Insightful Podcast. Today is episode 14, and the topic of discussion is what self-improvement habits you could start implementing today that you could see benefit from. Before we get into this, remember to like, subscribe, and comment on the video. Give me any feedback you have about the Insightful Podcast so far. I want to provide value for you guys, and I also want you to learn something every time you tune in to a new episode. Now that all the boring stuff is out of the way, let's get into this. So, why are your habits so important? Who you are right now is a culmination of all your previous actions. When it comes to habits, your habits are what you do every single day. It is who you are, in a sense, your identity. Because what you do every single day leads to the type of personality you have. If you're a very disciplined person and you're doing all the right things every single day, you're going to be, in general, more successful. It is more likely for you to be more successful if you have good habits. Now, if you have bad habits, this will lead to you maybe not living the best life that you want to live, or not being proud of who you are as a person, right? And, any situation that you're currently in, remember and think to yourself, what did I do to get into this position, right? If you're not happy with your physique, for example, you need to ask yourself, what were the things that I did that led up to this? And most of the time, it's not just one or two things that you did once in a while, it was your habits every single day, right? If you have horrible sleep, it's not usually because one night you had no hours of sleep. It's because your whole sleep schedule has been messed up for a while. How many people do we know say, "Oh, my sleep schedule's messed up. My sleep has been so poor lately." It's not usually just because of one night where they got 5 hours of sleep because they had a lot to do. It's because they created this new habit of getting such bad sleep that their performance plummets, you know? So next time you want to assess who you are and where you are in life, you need to ask yourself, what actions and what habits led me to this point? This is a great form of self-reflection that can help you improve for the future. The next thing is the next reason why habits are so important is because in order to see growth in any endeavor, you need to make good habits and eliminate the bad ones. You know, Success in any sort of avenue that you decide to go upon all comes from your habits and your bad habits, right? If you're someone that maybe isn't that knowledgeable or doesn't, you would consider yourself someone that isn't well versed in many topics, it's because maybe you don't read, maybe you don't research enough, right? So that is a good habit that you can implement into your life, is starting to read every single day, read about new topics that interest you, and eventually you'll become a more well-rounded, knowledgeable person. And also your bad habits. Let's say you want to start playing soccer with your friends again, and you're an adult now, and your bad habit was smoking. You started smoking at a teenage age, and you never dropped a cigarette. And because of that, now your cardiovascular is horrible and you can't keep up with your friends on the pitch. This comes from a bad habit that you instilled upon yourself at a younger age, and now it's affecting your future. Because most of the time, these bad habits, you know, they're not that bad in the moment if you do it once or twice, but it's once it becomes a daily occurrence where you're constantly indulging in these bad habits day in and day out, you know, that's when it affects you the most. And there's this saying all the time, oh, um, you go to the gym the first day, you see no difference. You go to the gym the second day, there is no difference. You go to the gym for a week, there's still no difference. But after a couple months, of you consistently going, you see a huge difference in your physique, your strength, your cardiovascular, whatever you're trying to achieve when it comes to physical activity. Same thing goes for weight gain. You may eat like 7,000 calories today, but you're not going to be fat tomorrow. Fat is just stored energy, stored, you know, and if you keep constantly eating and making a bad habit of binging and snacking and all these horrible practices when it comes to diet, that's when you start to see the result later, because in the moment, the bad habits, it's not really a habit yet. You're just, eating, you're indulging a bit, but it's once it becomes a regular occurrence every single day, you're eating, that's when a couple months later you look at yourself and you're like, wow, where did all these pounds come from? It's because of the bad habit that you started. So you need to be very careful in what type of habits you instill and habits what type of bad habits you have that you try not to break. If you don't try to break these bad habits, it's going to lead to you having a horrible mindset in the future, or you being mad at yourself. And the worst feeling that you could have is shame. And a lot of shame comes from bad habits. Being ashamed of yourself and who you are and what you do is because of bad habits you instilled upon yourself. I know from my own experience that was a big thing for me. I was ashamed of myself in some things because I had bad habits. And because of these bad habits, it led me to view myself in such a bad way. And that's the thing, right? We need to be very conscious of these habits, and especially the bad ones, right? Because that then we could see our own self-destruction in the future if we keep doing these things. Now I want to give you guys some facts about habits, because we need to get a better understanding of the importance and why we need to instill better habits in our daily lives. Habits are the small decisions you make and actions you perform every single day. According to researchers at Duke University, habits account for about 40% of our behaviors on any given day. You need to understand that every time you go pick up your phone because you see a notification, you see an Instagram notification, a text message, this is not you intentionally wanting to pick it up most of the time. A lot of the times, it is just your behavioral patterns. That's all it is because every time you hear a ding, you go reach for your phone and you become accustomed to this feeling. It's an instant dopamine hit. So don't be too mad at yourself when you're indulging in these bad habits because it's something that was built over time. You can't just break it the next day. It's something that's going to be very difficult to break. And the best way to break these bad habits are to replace them with good ones. So that is a crazy fact, because the fact that 40% of our behaviors on any given day is happens because of habits, we need to start assessing our habits and seeing which ones are good and which ones need to leave our life. Most people don't think of the brain in terms of a processor, but that's what it is. It processes the world around us and within us. Your brain is the most powerful processor ever created. But all processors need energy. Did you know that your brain makes up for 2% of total mass of your body, but consumes 25% of all the oxygen you inhale? If your brain is zapped of energy, it can't do its job efficiently. Creating certain healthy habits saves your brain energy. Your brain divides patterns that are complex into small chunks. Each of these chunks become automated, which requires less brain activity the more often it is repeated. So, whenever you learn a new healthy habit, you are helping save your brain energy for other useful endeavors. You know, because when you start something new, let's say it's the gym, let's say it's reading, it takes a big toll on your mind because you're thinking about it, and especially in the moments where your brain's telling you, "Oh, I don't really want to do this. It's boring. I hate it." Whatever the case may be, because you're thinking like this all the time, it wastes a lot of your brain power. It makes you tired. You're spending too much time thinking about it, right? But once these habits become nature to you, it becomes normal. Once they become normal, you don't waste any brain power doing it. A lot of the times, like for the gym for myself, is I just know I got to go to the gym. So I don't even think about it. Sometimes I just wake up, go to the gym, and that's it. There's no real like hard thinking of, oh, I don't really want to go. Oh, if I go, maybe I'm too tired, I might get injured. When you start thinking like this, you're giving a lot of energy towards this. And people got to realize maybe the reason why you can't stay focused and start new things in your life is because your brain is constantly wasting energy on many other things. You know, we have our daily lives, we have relationships we have to take care of, we have work that we need to do, all these different things. And because of these things, we only have so much brain power. That's why at the end of the day, your brain just feels out of it. You feel exhausted mentally. It's because you only have so much energy to go through out the whole day. People look at energy in a sense of just physicality, like how physically tired you are, but a lot of the times it's mental. When you've been working on a computer, for example, and you're doing creative type work, if it's coming up with ideas for your art or for your music, whatever the case may be, eventually there's a point in the day where you just can't be creative anymore, you can't think anymore. And this is the perfect example of you using all your brain power, all your brain points. You've thought enough, you've brainstormed enough, your brain can't handle it, right? So you need to evenly distribute this brain energy throughout the day. And that's why this study is so important, right? Is because if something becomes natural to you and it becomes automated because you do it every single day, then that's one less thing you need to focus your brain energy on. You just get it done. Auditory and visual cues make habits easier to maintain. Think of your cell phones and computers. Why are they so addicting? Because they have both auditory and visual cues. Sounds go off when you get a text or a call, and reminders ding on your online calendar. Facebook and Instagram continually notify you of any activity on your account and so forth. Adding some sort of audio alarm clock or visual, a sunrise or a sunset cue to your new habit is another way of helping make it stick over time. So, for example, meditation. If you allow yourself to give a notification every time where you should meditate, this will help you consistently have the habit. you know for myself, meditation sometimes is difficult to make a habit on a daily basis, but I do get a notification at the same time every single day. And now that I know this information, I'm going to pair it with a sound, because that's the same thing as when you check Instagram and you get a notification that you got a new like or a new follower. It's the same concept. The reason why you check it is because it's so addictive, and it occurs when your visual and auditory cues make it easier to remember. Okay, that's a notification from Instagram, let me go check it out. And if you guys want to start putting in a practice to maybe get the meditation, for example, up whilst bringing the Instagram down, you need to shut off the notifications on certain things, right? Because imagine if all your notifications are off for the things that don't really matter, like your social medias and stuff. What you could do is make the important things, like the meditation apps, have those notifications, because then that'll be the same type of, physical hit to be like, okay, let me pick up my phone, I need to meditate. A big thing for myself is I got rid of all my notifications for my social media, even when growing it. Even when my videos started going viral, I stopped. I didn't have notifications on. So I'd post a video at 12 p.m. and I'd post a video at 7 p.m. and I wouldn't check Instagram from 12 to 7. And I wouldn't check Instagram from 7 till the time I woke up, because the notifications were off. Even if I did gain a good amount of followers or did get a good amount of likes, I wouldn't know because my notifications weren't going off. And this just helps you feel more clear mentally, because if you're constantly picking up your phone to every sound, how do you expect to get focus? Just like right now, I'm doing this podcast and my phone's on D&D because I don't want a notification to make me think of something else while I'm in this conversation with you guys. So now I want to get into the meat and potatoes of this video. So what are the top 3 self-improvement habits you need to start doing today? And these 3 are all that I continuously do every day. And even if I miss them consistently, like let's say 1 or 2 days, I always go back to them because I know how crucial they are in my self improvement journey. So the first one, you might have guessed it, is meditation. You know, meditation is very important, I believe, because the world is so fast paced now. There's so many things going on. You're trying to chase success while also trying to maintain friendships. You're seeing what's going on online, all these different things. Your brain is on constant, constant high level, alertness to all these things. It's constantly thinking about all this. That's why you could go to sleep some nights and you can't fall asleep, and there's just some random song playing in your head. There's some random conversation that you had earlier in the day playing in your head. It's because you never give yourself time to just focus on the present moment. And that's what meditation does. The simplest form of meditation is just sitting there with your eyes closed, you inhaling and exhaling and focusing on your breath. And it's just like the gym. There's reps with it. You are going to get unfocused all the time. You're going to think of some random bullshit all the time. But what you do is you draw your attention back to your inhale and exhale. You draw your attention back to your breath. And the more you do this, the more focused you are, the more you could be focused and present during the day in your everyday tasks. How many times do you do something in your day and you're like, I don't even remember how I did it or how it got done, because you're just never present in the moment. And this was a big thing that I did leading up to my vacation. I had a vacation last year where I went to England and France. And leading up to the vacation, I wanted to make sure that I was as present as possible because it was going to be a great experience with my friends. So leading up to the vacation, I was meditating pretty frequently. Sometimes I'd meditate twice a day, longer periods, because I knew I wanted to have that mindfulness when I was in vacation and take in all that I was experiencing. And it helped out a lot because I have always been someone that is either constantly thinking about the future or constantly thinking about the past. So I'm never really living in the present moment. But meditation brought me to the present moment when I was super consistent with it. And it allowed me to enjoy the time with my friends that I maybe will never experience again in that certain circumstance, going on vacation together, a group of six of us. And I might not be able to go on vacation with them ever again with that group because of circumstances, right? So you need to put this stuff in a consideration. And that's why meditation is important. And the easiest way to get started with meditation today is just start with 5 minutes a day. 5 minutes a day of breath work, just focusing on your breath. And the thing about habits is you need to do them frequently. You need to do them every single day. You don't have to do them for long. Don't expect to try meditating for 30 minutes the first day. It's not going to happen. It's going to be too difficult to just stay still. So, what I would recommend is get an app so that you could track your meditation streak, so you could track your progress. It gives you daily updates on how you're feeling mentally. So get an app and start meditating 5 minutes a day. What I would do is don't leave it for the end of the day or before bed, because most of the time in the beginning, you're going to be super tired and you're not going to end up doing it, right? And you're not going to see any benefits from it because you're going to be dozing off the whole time, right? So I would recommend maybe doing it in the afternoon or before something very important. Like, for example, me, I love meditating before I do a podcast with a guest. It just calms my nerves and it just puts me in a calm state and more of a present state when speaking to someone. So I try to do it before my podcast because I want to have a good one and have a good conversation with my guest. Same thing for you guys. I would say do it before something big, right? Uh, a big task that you do that maybe is stressful and stuff. Implement the meditation before it. And like I said, all it is just downloading an app, keeping the streak, because the streak will allow you to instill the habit, because you'll constantly be thinking about, oh, I need to get better with meditation, so I need to do it every single day. And the streak kind of helps you with that. But don't get too obsessed with it. Don't allow yourself to hate yourself if you lose your streak, because at the end of the day, it's not that important. It's if you're trying your best to keep that new habit in. This quote I love, and just think about it. If you want to conquer the anxiety of life, live in the moment, live in the breath. Amit Ray. This is so true. Like, any anxiety you have is things that don't currently exist. you're anxious because of the date you're going on. You might think it's going to go bad. You're anxious because you're meeting this new group of people and you don't know how they're going to perceive you as. But all these things are just stuff that you make up in your head. And through meditation and through mindfulness and through focusing on your breath and staying calm, these things will expel from your life. You'll feel less anxious. And I'm not saying that meditation is the cure to anxiety. That's not true. But at least for me, I'm a way less anxious person because of meditation. So if I were you guys, the first and most important self improvement habit you can implement is meditation. So try it today. Next self improvement habit that you guys need to start doing is journaling. Journaling is very important, in my opinion, because you're able to assess situations outside of your own mind. You're able to dissect certain circumstances that you've been through or certain things that happened in your day and be able to see it more clear. Because, if something very crucial or something very crazy happens in your day, and you're just constantly replaying it in your mind and trying to understand it, it's very hard because your mind is racing. But if you're able to write things down, you're able to be more clear with your thoughts, right? And you're able to maybe understand some things that you didn't know before. You know, for example, for me, if I got into an argument with someone, I would journal about it and I would realize, hey, maybe I'm the one that started this argument. Maybe I'm the one that started this problem. And I'm able to fix it, or I'm able to see why I should be the one apologizing, right? And there's so many journaling practices that you could try today. And I think the first one and most crucial one is gratitude journaling. All you need to do is list 3 things that you are grateful for every single day. Do this in the morning, and you'll realize you'll go throughout the day more positive because you realize, hey, you're already starting your day with gratitude. So if it if something bad happens throughout your day, you might look back to what you wrote down in the morning and say to yourself, oh, it doesn't matter. I'm still grateful for this, right? Still grateful for, my perseverance. That's something that I've been grateful for, is like the fact that something could happen in my life or something could hit me off course of where I'm going. And I'm still able to persevere and get past those hurdles, right? And you just, starting your day with gratitude just sets you up for like just looking at the world in a more positive lens. You're able to be happy for the circumstances that you're currently in, and especially during hard times, if you could find some gratitude in the small things, it'll help you get through them. That's why I think journaling is very important. This is another quote about journaling that I want you guys to hear. Journal writing is a voyage to the interior. Christina Baldwin. This is so true, because if you make journaling a constant practice in your everyday life, you get to know a little bit more about yourself on a daily basis. You get to understand why you think the way you think, why you act the way you act, and from that you can improve yourself. And I love self-improvement. I think the only thing about self-improvement is there's no end to it, right? There is no end. You could always be better at something. You could always, be more kind, be more emotionally there for other people. There's just so many things about self-improvement that you can improve on, and journaling and tracking these things and understanding yourself only helps it, right? Because self-improvement is way more than your physique, the money, the success. There's so many internal things that you could fix about yourself that makes self-improvement so enjoyable. Next thing you guys need to start doing, and the last one, is start waking up early. You know, Waking up early just builds your mind so strong, right? Because if you're able to get up, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 a.m., if you're able to get up at these times, especially when you don't feel like it, you're going to be proud of yourself. And this proudness and this pride within your own character is going to just ooze confidence, right? I know I'm a way more confident person on the days I wake up early than the days I wake up late. Especially the days where I didn't get a lot of sleep, but I still stick to my routine of getting up early, I feel great about myself. For example, today I woke up at 4 a.m., just like any other day, but I went to bed last night at like 12. And the fact that I was still able to get up at 4 a.m., hit the gym, now I'm filming podcasts, I edited a video for my Instagram, I've been already doing stuff, already been active. I just feel so much more confident in myself. I stuck to my word, and waking up early just sets you up for a productive day. Because think about all the little stuff you got to get done throughout the day. If you're able to knock it off in the morning, it saves you time for further in the day, right? And the thing about waking up early is you need to start small. You need to go at small increments. Just start waking up earlier than you already do. Waking up early is subjective at the end of the day because it is compared to what you wake up at this time. If you wake up at 12 p.m. and then you start waking up at 10 a.m., that is considered early for yourself. It's subjective, you know. But once you get at till like 8 o'clock and you've been doing that for a while, then maybe your new early is 6 a.m., right? And it just gives you more time to accomplish things and focus on other things because you just have more time in the day. And the thing I love about waking up early, and my best advice about waking up early and why you should do it, is because the amount of hours you're awake before other people are up is just amazing. You feel great about yourself. You're getting a lot done. Every time me and my brother go to the gym at 5 a.m., there's no one on the roads. A lot of people's lights aren't on in their houses. They're not awake. And this kind of brings you some motivation, that, hey, I'm striving for a lot, and I could see that because it doesn't take, not everyone's waking up at that time, right? So when you do wake up at that time, you feel great about yourself. And when I did start my self-improvement journey, this was one of the first things that I started doing. It was waking up early. I remember I was going to Planet Fitness during high school, and on my days off, I'd be waking up at 4:30 to walk to the gym. And the gym was like 35-minute walk from my house. And the fact that I was doing this on a daily basis just made me so proud of myself, and it helped propel myself to my self-improvement, you know? So guys, you need to start waking up early. It's just such a great benefit. I truly believe, guys, that if you start implementing these three habits in your life, you could start to see results in your focus, your determination, and your humility. The focus comes from the meditation, the determination comes from waking up early, even when you don't feel like it, and your humility is built through journaling once you're able to self analyze what is wrong with you and what is great about you. Just by making these three habits a part of your daily life, we could start seeing great growth in our self improvement journeys. This is the end of the podcast. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to follow me on Spotify and let me know how you enjoyed this episode through our polls. It was a pleasure speaking to you guys, and I'll catch you in the next one. We gain insight in order to move forward in life.